You are listening to the Keep the Weight Off podcast with Dr. Angela, episode number 63.
Welcome to the Keep the Weight Off podcast, where we bust all the dieting myths and discover not just how to lose weight, but more importantly, how to keep it off. We go way beyond the food, and we use science and psychology to give you strategies that work. And now your host, Dr. Angela Zechmann.
So welcome, everyone, to today's podcast. And welcome, Marshall. How is it going for you?
Good. It's going great, except for this weather.
I know.
Can't make up its mind.
I know. It's spring weather.
Yeah. The Pacific Northwest. Yay.
Exactly. We don't know what to expect from one moment to the next. It's just,
I know. 1 minute it's sunny and the next minute it's hailing and then raining and then sunny.
You know what? I had a rainbow today. So
you did?
I think that's a great omen. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's beautiful.
So, well, today I want to talk about something pretty interesting because I struggle so much with this personally, and it has to do with the fact that change is difficult. Would you say that, Marshall? Would you say change is difficult? Change is difficult. We work with it all day. We see it on ourselves all day. We see it in everybody all day. So, for example, for me, I have these visions for how I want my life to be. I work a lot at trying to be a more organized person. I actually, just as an aside, I used to be in Toastmasters, and I did a Toastmasters talk one time about how completely disorganized I was. And I brought in all of my organizing books. I had like a whole box of organizing books. And when I was done with my talk, everybody was rolling on the ground laughing, but they all asked if everybody wanted to borrow this one or that one or whatever. So I was actually able to get rid of my organizing books. So I just do this. I go on these organizing binges, and I will clean out my closets or my desk drawers or whatever it might be. And things look great for a while, right? And then eventually everything returns to disorder. And I always wonder, why does it happen like that?
This sounds a lot like dieting.
Well, that's exactly what happens with weight loss. You're so right, because we go on diets and we're very focused at getting our exercise and our nutrition figured out. And we feel super motivated and we do well for a while. And then something happens and things just seem to get disorganized again. And then we go back to eating the way we always have. And I know this is speaking to people right now because I hear it all the time. I do it myself. I think this is everybody's issue is that go really hard for a while and then something happens and it's sort of just, trickles off, and then you got to go back to the way it was. And then you feel disappointed and, why can't I just be consistent? Yeah, exactly. We hear this so much. And so that's why I wanted to delve into it, because I think that the more you know about how your brain works and the more strategies you can develop to overcome this, then the easier it's going to be to lose weight and then maintain that weight loss, or in the case of me, to get organized and then stay organized, right? So I'm going to suggest that we think about all of this from a new perspective. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. So here's how this works. Our thoughts are what creates our reality. So this is actually the way it works. You're creating everything, not you specifically, Marshall, but all of us are creating everything in our lives because of the things that we're thinking. And so that's actually a really profound understanding.
It's very profound. It's deep.
Most people don't understand this at all. So we create our lives because of what we're thinking day in and day out. So most of us, so we create our lives because of what we're thinking day in and day out.
All right. For those in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So most of us have no idea that this is what's going on. We think we're at the mercy of our circumstances, right? We think that things just happen to us and we respond to whatever's going on around us. And so most of us are constantly trying to change our circumstances so that we can improve our lives.
Right.
So essentially, this is like trying to work from the outside in. We're trying to have a different experience by manipulating things that are external to us. But that's actually not the way it works. Our circumstances do not create our reality. Our thoughts create our reality.
This sort of reminds me of when in the Empowerment Project, where you explain, the identity change, and you talk about it, comes from like within, and then you work your way out rather than working your way from the outside in.
Exactly. Exactly. This is what we do in the Empowered Weight Loss membership. We're working with this truth constantly because what we think, and particularly what we think about ourselves, is the basis of what we're able to create in our lives. Okay, so I've alluded to this in a lot of previous podcasts, but I really wanted to go in depth today. So, for example, let's think about how we create weight loss. If I have a belief that I'm overweight and losing weight is hard, guess what I'm going to create in my life? What do you think, Marshall?
You're going to make weight loss hard.
Exactly.
The experience getting there is going to be hard the whole time because of the way that you think about it.
So if I have this belief, I'm overweight and losing weight is hard, that is exactly what I'm going to create. I'm going to create a life in which I'm overweight and losing weight is hard. So then you say,
usually leads to failure because it's too hard. Yes.
Yes. But then, then people will say, well, hey, wait a minute. This is the truth. I am overweight. And every time I've tried to lose weight, it's been hard. So this is true. So now what?
It is true. Yes, it is true.
So this, my friends, is the classic problem. Because what's going on is you're using your past to define your belief about yourself. But your belief about yourself is what creates your future. Okay? So the past is a done deal. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. All that matters is what's going to happen in the future. But if you keep using the past to define your belief about yourself, you're just going to keep creating more of the same. Does that make sense? It's a little bit of a mind twister.
Saying in this group that I go to, and it's the definition of insanity. It's like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, we got to change our approach and the way we think.
Exactly. So in order to create a new future for yourself, you have to be willing to let go of the past and of your old identity and all of those old thoughts about yourself. You have to stop focusing on the past, and you have to focus only on the future that you're creating. And I want to acknowledge that this is not an easy thing. As a matter of fact, this is hard. And that's why we called this podcast Change is Hard. And it's hard for several reasons. So the first reason that it's hard is that these old thoughts about ourselves are well-worn neural pathways in our brains. So they're like the superhighways that I always talk about with cars going 90 miles an hour. They're very easy to go to. They will just sort of automatically repeat themselves over and over again without even our conscious awareness. So this thought, I'm overweight and losing weight is hardwired in for a lot of people, right?
Right.
And it's repeating itself over and over again underneath the surface, unless, of course, we bring awareness to it and correct it when it comes up. So that's the first reason
and that's where the hard part comes in.
Yeah. Well, just becoming aware of it.
Changing it. Yeah. This is where the work comes in.
Yeah. Now, what's the second reason that this is hard? Our primitive brains do not like change. Now, remember, I always talk about the primitive brain and then the human brain. So the primitive brain is all about survival and seeking pleasure in the moment, avoiding pain in the moment, and staying comfortable and safe. So your primitive brain gets super nervous about any kind of change because your primitive brain is afraid that if anything changes, you're going to die. That's what your primitive brain thinks. So it knows that right now, even if you don't necessarily like your circumstances, you're comfortable and you're safe. You might not be happy, but at least you're alive and you're safe. So your primitive brain is going to have you keep all of the beliefs that you currently have about yourself because that's what's safe. So,
and safe doesn't necessarily mean safe in a good way, like you were just saying, because it's like the same concept of somebody staying in a bad relationship,
right.
Because they feel comfortable.
Uh-huh.
Maybe not so much safe is not the word, but they feel comfortable in it,
right.
Because it's familiar,
Familiar.
Yeah. Although it's not what's good for you. So
exactly.
your mind telling you're safe doesn't necessarily mean.
Maybe I should use a different word than safe. Maybe I should use the word predictable.
Yeah, predictable. Exactly.
Predictable.
It is. It's predictable. Yeah, we want things that are predictable.
Exactly.
Because it makes us feel safe.
Exactly. Yes. So I want everybody listening to understand, in order to make any significant change in your life, you have to do two very hard things. The first thing you have to do is to overcome the tendency of the primitive brain to want to stay safe, i.e. predictable, and keep things the way they are. And you have to let go of old beliefs about yourself that are running 90 miles an hour and develop new beliefs that feel very unfamiliar and insecure. Is that making sense?
Yes. And so I just also wanted to let other people know, so when I went through this, so that uncomfortability and that feeling of not being predictable, not being safe, that only lasts for a while, because then, the other behavior that you're doing in order to change your identity, that becomes your predictable behavior after a while.
Yes.
You have to get there, so it's not
Yes.
always going to be uncomfortable. It's not always going to be, unpredictable. It's not going to always feel like that. It's just that you have to be willing to go through that for a little while to,
exactly,
make a different lifestyle. Yeah.
Thank you for driving that point home. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So it is going to feel uncomfortable and unfamiliar for a while until your brain kind of gets used to it feeling more and more comfortable. Okay.
Right.
So great. So in our membership, we have a mission, and this is the Empowered Weight Loss membership. We have a mission to get you thriving in a healthy, vibrant body that you're proud of. That's the result that we want to see. You
for
thriving.
the rest of your life too, not for 3 months, not
exactly.
This is
exactly
for the rest of your life. Yes.
You thriving in a healthy, vibrant body that you're proud of. Doesn't that sound amazing?
Yes.
And these words are very specific. So what does it mean to be thriving? It means that you're not just surviving. It means that you're not languishing, but you're feeling eager about your days and you're feeling excited about what you can accomplish. What does it mean to be healthy? You have a metabolism that's humming along at peak capacity. Your insulin resistance, we talked about that last week. Insulin resistance is in good control, and you're pain-free and you're clear-headed. Vibrant, what does that mean? It means your skin is glowing and you've got good energy all day and your eyes are sparkling and you're eager to take hikes or to go play tennis or whatever it is you want to do. You're on it. You're not sitting on the sidelines of life watching other people do stuff that you wish that you could be participating in. So that's thriving in a healthy, vibrant body. What about a body that you're proud of? So you're not hiding in bulky sweaters anymore. You're wearing clothes that flatter you, and they're colorful and bright because you're no longer embarrassed to be seen. You're not hiding from cameras or trying to place yourself behind other people in pictures. How many of us do that? We're like, oh, let me get in the back,
I totally did that. Or like the old selfie where you take the picture from way up above so you can see your double chin.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're proud of your body. When you look in the mirror, you feel proud. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Thriving
wonderful to me.
In a healthy, vibrant body that you're proud of. Yeah. So in order to do this, you'll want to develop a completely new identity. And so the identity of someone who's thriving in a healthy, vibrant body that they're proud of. These thoughts of thriving in a healthy, vibrant body that you're proud of need to be nurtured and focused upon consistently in order to achieve that result. You can't keep looking in the mirror and noticing that your clothes don't fit right, or noticing that double chin, or the extra weight around the middle, and thinking that you're overweight. You can't keep doing that and end up thriving in a healthy, vibrant body that you're proud of. It's like you have to suspend current reality for a little while you work at creating this new identity and this new reality. It requires actually living in the future while you go about creating that future for yourself. So in your imagination, you're living that life already, like it's already a done deal. And this isn't easy. And as a matter of fact, it's quite difficult. So, remember, you've got your primitive brain in there telling you you're going to die if you try to change. And why not just keep everything the same? And by the way, there's a cookie over there, and that's going to help relieve some of this angst and give you some pleasure too. It's not easy when you live in a society that basically glorifies overeating, with food and beverage industries constantly marketing to you and telling you it's time to have a snack or have a beer, or when our social constructs are so based around food and eating. So let's not underestimate the difficulty of this challenge. It's hard. But life is just as hard living in a body that hurts and is hard to move and that you feel trapped by. That's really hard too. So then the question becomes, which hard do you want to pick? If it's going to be hard either way, how would you rather have it? Good question, huh?
That's a great question.
It's a great question. So for those of you who are listening to this podcast today, here are some questions that you can ask yourself. Am I willing to become more aware of the beliefs I have about myself around my weight right now? Okay, that's the first question. The second question, am I willing to give up the past and envision a future in which I'm thriving in a healthy, vibrant body that I'm proud of? Question number 3, am I willing to suspend my current belief system and develop a new identity for myself? And question number 4, am I willing to become more aware of my primitive brain so that I can overcome its pull towards staying the same? What do you think about that? How does that sound?
Yeah, those are questions. Those are serious questions. I wanted to just add something here. So
yeah,
I know that when I was doing the same thing, just the same thing over and over and over. I would try these whatever the latest, greatest diet was, and I would get motivated, and basically it was, these pre-planned meals, or, these programs were basically they were making money off of just giving you their meals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was no real counseling, and so then I could do it for a little while until I ran out of money, or, I got to like whatever, a certain weight for a little while. And then if something went sideways, I'd go right back to, or even like if I got bored for a while or just, sick of the diet, I would go right back to where I was, and then I would gain the weight back and then some. And then I would have to do the whole thing in the mirror. Why can't I do this? What's wrong with me? Am I worse than everybody else? Am I broken? Am I going to be doing this forever? And so this is where Dr. Zechmann comes into play, because when I first met you, so you tackle this part of weight loss that so many people don't pay attention to. And it's this thing that's going on inside your head, and the identity that you have when you are overweight, and the way that we think about ourselves. And if we don't change that part, then most likely you're going to go right back to where you started at some point. You may be able to go a year or 3 months or a year, maybe 2 years. But we see this in the clinic over and over and over again. I was doing really good, for a little while, and then, something happened, and, here I am again. And now I've, gained everything back and then some. So this is where the empowerment weight loss program comes in. Sorry, the empowerment project. I'm so used to calling it Journey Beyond Weight Loss. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah. So some of you may know it by Journey Beyond Weight Loss. It's now the empowerment project. But that's where this
empowered weight loss.
Empowered weight loss. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's where this comes into play, is this part of weight loss that you learn how to live differently for good.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to go back. Like, you can throw those, fat jeans away. They're in your closet because you aren't ever going to need them again. Because if you get the help that you need working on the inside of yourself, which is what Angela does, that I have never seen anybody else do. And I think that's huge. And so that's why, we have this blessing of the Empowerment Weight Loss Project. I know I'm not saying it right. I'm going to have to, learn that, but it's really, really good stuff. And, if you're ready to make some hard decisions and, do some hard things, but some permanent things that are going to make you feel wonderful in the end, I'd suggest that you, do the, Empowerment Project.
Yeah. I'd encourage anybody who answered yes to any of those questions to consider joining us in our Empowered Weight Loss membership. It's a monthly membership. We teach you everything that you need to know to thrive in a healthy, vibrant body that you're proud of. It starts off with the 30-day Done With Dieting Boot Camp. Okay. So during the 30-day Done With Dieting Boot Camp, I'm teaching you how to get your metabolism rebalanced. So I'm teaching you like a lot of science. It's a ton of fun. So if you're interested, just go to JourneyBeyondWeightLoss.com and click on the 30-day boot camp tab. I can't even say that. The 30-day boot camp tab. Say that 3 times fast.
I know.
The tab that says 30-day boot camp. Just click on that, and then you will be able to join us in the boot camp and in Empowered Weight Loss. So awesome. So thank you, Marcia.
Do it.
Yeah. That's all for this week, everybody. We will see you again next week with a new episode of the podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, if you really want to lose weight and keep it off for good, your next step is to sign up for Dr. Angela's free weight loss course, where you're going to learn everything you need to get started on your weight loss journey the right way. Just head over to JourneyBeyondWeightLoss.com/free course to sign up. Also, it would be awesome if you could take a few moments and write a review on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you in Journey Beyond Weight Loss.